Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. Today is the 14th of April 2021. It's a very big day in DCS world because version 2.7 is now out. I've been involved with DCS for 5 years and RC about 8 years, and in my 5 years this is probably the biggest patch I remember seeing, with the most things added, updated and fixed. As ever, what we want to do is to take the most important things, the things you really need to know, and show them to you in one or just a few videos. On the screen now are the things we've picked out that we think you must know about with the coming of version 2.7. The items on the right of the screen that are surrounded in the purple line are items that will have separate Grim Reapers videos done on them, and as those videos are done over the next few days I will also backlink them to this video in the video description. They include the following. First, under the general heading, the new dynamic cloud system with any known issues. Next, the Mirage 2000 important updates, the AV-8B Harrier important updates, the FA-18C Hornet important updates, the F-16C Viper important update, and the A-10C2 important update. So please go and watch those videos when they're out. Also, Wags has done some of those videos as well. You can go and check him out. Everything else on the sheet we're going to cover in this video today. They are under the headings of General, Ground Units, Syria Map, Channel Map, JF-17 Thunder, AJS-37 Viggen, F-14A Tomcat, and the I-16. So to start with, General, the new World War II propellers technology. So we now have more graphical detail in the props. It's something that's not that easy to convey to you. You just have to kind of watch and buy them in different circumstances, different regimes. The new missile radar cross-section, I believe this refers to all missiles in DCS, or at least the air-to-air missiles, and the new thrust and flight dynamics of the R-27. All of this has been tweaked and changed to apparently make them more realistic. This is going to take several hours of testing to see what implications this could have. For instance, how good are the R-27 families of missile now? And how much has changing the radar cross-sections of the other missiles made? Can certain missiles, for instance, be intercepted that couldn't be intercepted before? So we'll be testing that in the background, and if in a few days we think it's changed enough that we need a new video, then we'll bring out a video on that. But otherwise, just be aware of the change. Next, Mission Editor added quadrangular trigger zones. To add a logic trigger, we used to click on that guy, of course, at Create Trigger Zone, click there. We would have the circular trigger and we could adjust the radius in feet like that. But now we can also change the shape. Instead of just having a circle, we can go quad point. We can go edit. That's the same radius, if you like, as the circle. Edit. And now we can move these corners about and make within 4 corners any shape that we like. And it will search within this shape for the logic trigger. So that's really good. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they added the ability to add more corners so you can make some really interesting shapes. But just that is a massive improvement if you're a mission creator. Next, Mission Editor updated payloads window design, mouse interactive view, double right mouse button to reset position. So to view the payload window, we click on our aircraft, we click on this guy here for our payload. If you remember previously, you had a rather dull, dreary two-dimensional drawing. We now have a full 3D render. Left click and hold to move the guy about. We can zoom in and out with mouse wheel scroll in and out, and we can see live updated in 3D what the aircraft will look like with the various stores on, which is great. If you want to reset the position to front, you can then double right mouse button to get to the front and the original zoom. Next, Mission Editor, updated weapons and stores naming. Looking at our Harrier again, we now have more information on the weapons that we highlight. So we move the mouse cursor over this fuel tank. Aero 1D 300 gallons fuel tank, or this bomb here, is a Mark 82 500-pound general purpose bomb with low drag, or a Mark 82 Snake Eye 500-pound general purpose bomb with high drag, or a Mark 20 Rockeye 490 pounds cluster bomb unit, it disappears after a while, with containing 247 high explosive anti-tank bomblets. So even for people like me that have been doing this for years, it's really hard to remember exactly what these weapons, there's so many weapons, what they are. So now we get a really good description, how heavy it is, how many bomblets, what kind of targets we should use it against, and they'll probably expand on that again in the future. Especially useful with the Russian stuff where, most Westerners just don't have a clue of what they are. Next, mission editor. Added ability to place all player client aircraft on the ground without a parking slot. For this to work, the aircraft has to be player or client. So I want to grab this guy. It's currently AI, so I'm going to make him client. And now, if I look under his starting configurations, we've had added takeoff from ground or takeoff from ground hot. So that's just, cold or engine on and warmed up. So we could go like that. And we can now start him there, or there, or there, or there. Now, the brilliant thing about this is if you're like the Reapers and you need to start 50 aircraft off from a small airbase with only 2 starting, positions, you can now do it. You can start them here or there, or even at FARPs and field bases and stuff like that. So incredibly useful addition. Next, mission editor. Added basic barrage option for flak and AA cannons. We have a single static AAA ZU-23 emplacement here. We want it to barrage a certain area of the sky at a certain height. Therefore, associated with waypoint 0, just the default waypoint, we're going to click Advanced Waypoint Actions here. Whoops, there we go. Add, under the category of Perform Task, action is going to be Fire at Point. Move that point to wherever in the sky you want to, within the range circle, obviously, you want to attack. Let's say there will be fine. And the zone radius of, let's say, 200 feet. So I want to fire within that 200 feet area there. And an altitude of, let's say, 2,500 feet above ground or above mean sea level. Weapon, you can choose what weapon, but auto, and it'll just fire the cannon. And you can choose how many rounds you want to fire as well. Let's just leave it on default and see what he does. Save and go. And there he goes. He's going to barrage that area now. If you have a whole set of these in a group, then you can basically fill the sky full of AAA. Next, mission editor. Sub-categorized units. Main item categories now have sub-category filters. Sounds boring, really useful. So, I want to go and add, a tank. I go ground unit here. I place it here. I choose which main category, air defense, armor, artillery, fortification, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's armor. Now, usually at this point, I would have to cycle through an ever-growing list of units to try and find and even figure out which one of tanks is quite difficult. So all I've got to do now is subcategory. Well, from the armors, we can have APC and infantry fighting vehicle, tank, main battle tank, self-propelled, anti-tank, gun, and so on. So in this case, I will just go tank, and you can see it's just got the tanks, and that's going to apply to all of these different. So air defense, well, do we want AAA, self-propelled AAA, launcher, generator, and so on. So it makes it much easier to organise and find different vehicles. Next, mission editor, linked FARPs. So something we found in Grim Reapers is that if we want to operate like 50 helicopters, we need lots of these different FARPs. Now that's difficult because you have to create them as separate entities and they act separately, and if you want to do behind the scenes warehousing, for instance, then they're going to act separately, whereas actually you want them to act as one unit. So look at this now. We've got a FARP here. I'm going to click on it. And I want to double its size, ping, triple its size, quadruple its size, and so on. And we've now got all these FARPs that operate as, if you like, one FARP, and it can accommodate 50 helicopters. And again, it'll act as a single entity with warehousing, which is exactly what we want. And just out of interest, you can see I've started a vegan on there from a cold start or a hot start. And they will act as one ATC, air traffic control, rather than lots of separate ones, which is great. Next, mission editor. Triggers can send images. So if we go through to the trigger system here in the mission editor, several triggers have been added, but the one that's really interesting for me anyway is if I go new, I'm just going to create once, and the condition is going to be time is more than 3 seconds. Then I can clear a picture. I can do a picture to all, picture to a certain coalition, picture to a certain country, picture to a certain group. I'm going to do picture to all to keep it easy. File. Let's go and open a file. So let's go and find the easiest I can find. There you go, screenshot.png. How many seconds do I want it up there for? 4 seconds will be fine. Clear view, start delay. Just keep us unchecked and off there. And if we go and run that through now, in theory, after 3 seconds of running, a lovely picture should pop up. 1, 2, 3. Picture for 3 seconds. Hey, not bad. Next, mission editor. F11 free camera. This is a wonderful feature. So if I click on our Bofors there, I press F7, as you know, it focuses on him. I can move the mouse around him, zoom in and out with the mouse scroll wheel. But what if I want to move about independently with the cursor keys like you can in IL2, left control F11 and A, D, S, W. Moves it around like as if you were playing Quake. Now that might not sound a lot to some people, but if you're a video maker, you won't believe how that's just halved the time it takes to get my camera in position. No, more than that. It's just really made things easy. And something we've just found out, which is extra cool, we can save screens for making videos, which is great. So let's say I'm a budding film director and I want to save that. I mean, free cam, by the way, obviously. I want to save that screen there. I'm going to press Z for me. And I want to save this as a bookmark. I'm going to go new. I'm going to call this bookmark 1. Okay. I'm going to get rid of it. Z. I'm going to move over here. I want now a shot over here. Whoops. A little bit too close. Z. New. 2. Okay. And I want to quickly jump to the other shot. Jump. I want to go to jump to the other shot. Jump. So I can save preset camera positions while in the free camera option. Not bad, huh? Next, combined arms. 2 new functions. From main menu into options, special, CA, combined arms. We now have the ability to limit the use of the isometric view, which by default is the insert key. I haven't actually seen this before, so I didn't realise that you could limit all this stuff. So you can change the realism of the combined arms module with these guys here. So that's a double bonus. We are in the middle of the ocean. That is a Tarawa, or Harrier Carrier, LHA. That is a Type 093 submarine. Now, I bet you didn't know you could do this. Ha 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 ha! I am now the submarine. Thank you for Caillou for showing me this, by the way. I haven't figured out really how to do much at the moment, but I can fire torpedoes. So, stand by as I try and figure out how to do that. Let me periscope up. Thank you, and I'm going to press return to lock this son of a gun. You can do this as well when it's moving, but I'm not going to do it. And I'm going to fire with left mouse button. Away goes my torpedo. Expect big boom boom. If I will press Q, I can change to, you see the ammunition down at the bottom right. Press Q, you can change to the anti-ship missiles, but we are too close at the moment, so you have to be 7 miles or something like that, which I'm sure is fine. Ramming speed ahead. Look at these cool graphics, right? That looks like real. Periscope down. Periscope down. Not really good at following orders at the moment. And we avoided him. Ha 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 ha. Paladin laugh. I'll see you later, sucker. Next, 2 new ground vehicles added. So we've got on the Chinese side the PLZ-05 Think Paladin, self-propelled 155mm. You control it exactly the same as you do with the other artilleries in game. And we've got, even cooler, a Soviet, I'm pretty sure, AAA S60 57mm. Let's go and watch them go boom boom under AI control. Watch this. You do not want to get on the end of one of those. Big mama. Super high detailed models.
Look at how the body moves.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I look forward to blowing them up, if I'm honest. Also, even cooler than that, watch this. Get some, baby. These guys are shooting the Burj Khalifa, by the way, so the Burj Khalifa will be reduced to rubble very shortly. But before that, hello. Paladin laugh.
It's dead.
Or even more fun. Hello, Mr. Bond. We meet again. Sweet, I'm a really bad shot. I always get carried away at this part of the movie.
Is that one shot?
It's 2 shots kills their bloody pally equivalent. Muchos fanos. Next, several 3D models of ground units updated. New 3D models and textures for the SA-6 Cub search track radar and launcher, and the LAZ 695 bus, and the LIAZ 677 bus, and the BTR-80, the BTR-82A, and desperately needed and got now the M60 pattern. As you can see in 3D, a really top quality high polygon mesh now, and that's great because we were just complaining about how terrible they look the other day, and now up to a really top standard, so super chuffed with that. Look at the radar, it's like top of the top now. Someone's sitting modelled that. Really good stuff. Buses, again, they look terrible, but they look great now, which is annoying because we've just done a video on buses when they had about 3 polygons, but there you go. Hello, Dimitri, how's your day? BTRs. And the mighty M60 pattern. Really top quality stuff. Next, channel map. We've had the following added. High Halden Airfield. And as you can see, it's absolutely massive. Look at the size of it. And it does look really good as well. Headcorn Airfield. Another absolutely massive base. Look at that. So cool. I guess that's a housing estate nowadays. East Church Airfield. Look at that funny little base right next to the coast. It's pretty cool. And the super famous Biggin Hill Airfield, and this one I think is the biggest yet, all concrete, and you know, Biggin Hill, very famous base just south of London. Next, we've had improved scenes around the airfields of England and France. So an example would be the roads, the forests, the settlements, etc. near the bases. Added the V1 launch sites near Neuville, Wallen-Capelle, Maison-Selle, Siricourt, Vacaret, Liege Court, Val-Igor, Le Bourg, Vizen, Lottinjon, and Yrennes. We've looked for these and we just can't find them, me and RC, but if he says that they're there, then I'm sure they're there. A lot of unique historical objects, monasteries, churches and castles have been added. The scenes around them have been improved. You guys will have to go out and find them and send pictures, but I'm sure they're awesome. Added more parking slots at the airfields in England. This is something we found, an extreme lack of parking slots when we did our large campaigns on here, so that's been remedied. The size of airfields in England have been increased and they can accommodate larger aircraft, and apparently an overall performance in frames per second. I haven't measured anything yet and I haven't done any proper testing, but fingers crossed that's right. Next, Syria Map. Lots of things have been added to this map. First of all, my apologies, I don't have it installed at the moment because I'm having a few problems with my hard drive, but we'll breeze over what's been added at least, and you can go and look yourself, if you own the map, at these interesting changes. 6 new airfields added, starting from the bottom. H4 has been added there. Talar, Roche Pina, Nakora, helicopter base, Sekal, Tia, Shayrat, and Gaziantep. As well as that, terraces have been added. Borders also between the states, so Israel, Syria, Turkey, Syria, Syria, Jordan. Added scenes of hotels on the coast. New original objects have been added. Terminal, stadium, towers, fortress, citadel, fortress. So these are the kind of one-off bespoke building scenes that you see dotted around the map. Improved original facilities and airfield infrastructure facilities. Improved airfield scenes, that means the setting of the airfield, like the roads, the buildings, the parks and stuff around it. And performance improvement, so we hope to see an improvement in FPS overall. That would be great. Next, JF-17 Thunder. From the main menu, Options, Special. Scroll down, JF-17. 2 new tick boxes in here. Icing on the cake. When it's ticked, it means that your canopy will fog and you'll have to defog it manually, or you can stop the fogging. Testing feature, we can't really figure this out, so I'm just going to show it on the screen and read it to you. Special option, testing feature. If you found some new changes break the game experience badly, you can uncheck this option to disable them until they're moved out from this protection. So if I want to arm up with some bombs, let's say I wanted 2 times Mark 20 Rockeyes on a single pylon, we would previously use the BRU-33 adapter, Now we use the actual correct GDJ II19. And let's see what that looks like.
Request rearming.
And there is the adapter. Also a small change in the TACAN display on the HSD. If we turn our TACAN on, we can see the information regarding the distance, the bearing, the magnetic course there. Also the magnetic course line there. Also the TACAN symbol there all show as yellow, whereas they used to show as green. Otherwise we think they're the same. Next, AGS 37 Viggen. In the Viggen now, we've got something pretty cool to show you. So, we're going to go to F10. We've got no waypoints. I want to set a a landing on a particular road. I'm going to choose that one there. It looks nice and straight. I'm going to do map marker, marker name. I want to land there, heading on a radial of that direction there. Okay, I want that information to come from the F10 map, which is here, through to my system, and I want it conveyed to me. So, click there. And I'm going to call this L1, that's landing point 1. And the direction, I actually need to go and find out. So let's go and measure the direction, or the radial of this runway. And it is 120, near enough. So L1 space 120. Turn it off, turn it on again, and check it. L1 120. So landing 1 120. Now back in the plane, we're going to bring that piece of information through in the usual way. We are going to right shift and kilo. We are going to square brackets until we get to the screen where we can intercept that information, which is ground settings. We're now going to use pointy brackets to find one that is going to be the correct one. There it is. 16 cartridge from marks on F10 map by new call sign created now a few seconds ago, contains 1 mark. We're going to do our usual thing of a cartridge in. I'm sure you will know this by now. Ref Lola in 9 act position there. What we can do is press LMAL now. That will direct us to L1, which we put in, and we can see it is about 13 kilometers away, which sounds about right. It was about 7 or 8 miles away. I'm just going to fast forward now as I go and get there. Approaching the point, about 6 kilometers now. Make sure we've got LMAL, and we have. Go to landing mode, zap, zap, zap. Radar screen comes on, and what we've got there is the base here, which is that point at the beginning of the road. I think it's that one there. And this guy here is representing the radial of that runway. So it tells us that when we approach this, we're going to come in on exactly that direction there. So that shows how from the F10 map, we can put information in about the direction of the runway and have it come into the machine all the way through and then represent it on our radar screen. Next, this is really cool because if you ever use this display here for the RB75, the Maverick type missiles, you'll notice it's really hard to use. Now we have 2 knobs. We have EP13 contrast and brightness, and they do exactly what they say on the tin. I'm going to try and show you. Ta-da! Look at that. And ta-da! So we've got contrast and brightness. Next, F-14 Tomcat. New feature. Jester speed awareness calls out during BFM. Added over 1,000 variations of speed callouts. Jester will provide speed awareness calls during BFM. Jester will advise of slow and fast speeds as well as corner speeds. And this is really useful because in this aircraft we have our speedo there and not in the HUD. So as the pilot, speed awareness is almost impossible. So to have the rear guy calling out speed is great. We're going to go and test it for the first time. That's RC on the nose. 3, 2, 1. Go Jester.
Okay, we're on. There is a bandit. Tomcat. 12 o'clock. 1 mile.
Oh, yeah. He's calling him out.
I haven't got anything yet.
He said 400, 440.
So
360 knots.
Yeah! Works.
Mr. 80.
12 o'clock low. 270.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
12 o'clock low. Passing 240.
Brilliant. I'm gonna pause it there, RC. Great. Exactly what was needed. Nothing else to say. Next, I-16. We now have external fuel tanks in the I-16, which is awesome because its internal fuel amount is terrible. So, pylons 4 and 5. Fuel. If anyone knows how big these are in terms of capacity, that would be very useful. Let's arm up.
Request rearming.
I know what you're thinking. Very strange looking tanks. Now to actually use them, we need to pull this lever here, which is the external fuel tank valve back, which is very strange because to use the internal fuel, you need to have for the internal cock here this one in. So don't pull that out by accident, and don't leave that in by accident. If you want to jettison the tanks, you can. You need to push this back in to disengage the fuel valve, the externals, and then you can jettison them like this. Now they're gone. As well as that, and I quote, oil radiator animation added. Now, the oil radiator control knob is that one there. We can move it forwards and backwards like that. We can't find anywhere on the cowling or the engine or anywhere like that where it's been modelled. So we assume it means that the actual handle has been modelled. I apologise if we're wrong, but that's the best we can find. Super Carrier. Several of the graphics have changed on the carrier. We're manipulating the carrier. Several sounds have changed, but we'll go and see when we go and take off. In the radio menu messages, the request startup has been removed. Also, departure radio messages added. So let's just go through a typical startup now. You can hear as well some kind of sounds in the background as well as the engine sounds. I'll just shut up, shall I? That whining sound she makes when she spools up now is great. And that concludes our look at version 2.7 DCS World Open Beta. Like I said, the other ones that are in the purple line, the videos will come out over the next few days. Please keep an eye out for them. And also, please note the really good news that there is a 50% off sale applying to most DCS modules from today until the 2nd of May. Enjoy 2.7 and see you later.